going on? It is a Talk About It Tuesday live, and we ain't had one of those in a minute. But here we are. It's Talk About Tuesday time, and there's a lot to talk about. We know there's always a lot to talk about. Welcome. My name is Jamaica Miles, co-founder, executive director of All of Us. I can't even talk right now. There's so much to talk about because whether we are talking about housing justice, police brutality, or safe communities, there's a lot to talk about, especially if we're talking about the city of Schenectady. I don't know if you all are familiar, but there's this thing called good cause legislation. It is something that is a good piece of legislation that protects tenants. And specifically, it's good for good property owners. The only people that are really bad are bad property owners. So if you happen to be an absentee landlord, or if you're a slumlord, if you're someone that don't take care of your properties, if you're someone that happens to illegally evict tenants, then this, of course, is not good for you. The city of Schenectady had an opportunity to move forward good cause, specifically calling for a public hearing for good cause. And what happened? Oh, well, I don't know. But 4 sitting city council members said, we don't need to hear from anybody else. We don't want to have a public hearing about good cause. You just don't want to hear from people, we're still going to show up. But those sitting city council members happen to be John Mudavarian, Joe Mancini, Carmel Patrick, and Doreen DeToro, that they themselves essentially said, we don't want good cause, even though we were presented with all the facts and data, personal stories, all of the reasons why this is good for the city of Schenectady. And we just feel like, we're going to listen to the misinformation. We're going to listen to the property owners that are scared for no good reason, even though all of their fears have been availed when they had questions about, hey, is it going to do this thing, or it's going to make it so we can't evict people? No, it doesn't do that at all. But what did the city council do? It happened to lean into fear mongering. Who else does that? I don't know. Probably the people they say that they're not in support of, but I digress. So the city council thinks that it has won a battle. No, all you did was kick the can, my dude. I want you to understand that housing justice is real, and the city of Schenectady is going to get good cause. Why? Because it's a good piece of legislation, and all you're going to do is upset the people who you say that you care about. As a matter of fact, you are reckoning with the very individuals that put you in office, because there were almost 200 petition signatures. We had 30 people sitting in the audience, and that's just a small fraction of the number of people that happen to support good cause, not just in the city of Schenectady, but overall. So we're still coming. Let's talk about it. We're still coming, and we still expect to have good cause in the city of Schenectady. But what else was brought up at the city council meeting last night is the fact that I went live on Friday. If you are someone that don't know that you didn't see my live on Friday on my personal page, I was hot. Why was I hot? Because a 14-year-old boy was brutalized by Schenectady Police Department. And other friends of his also were put in handcuffs for no good reason. They did not have probable cause. As a matter of fact, what they said was they were being disruptive, that Black children were being disruptive at a summer night event in the city of Schenectady, where it was loud and boisterous and kids are having fun. And so what do we expect? That kids who are having fun should not be loud, and instead they're going to be criminalized and called that they are disruptive. So yeah, we're not going to be doing that. But the young man in question, who was brutalized by cops and put in handcuffs and taken to the police station and then later released, but said to be resisting arrest. But what were you arresting him for? You still haven't said what you were arresting him for. And at the city council meeting, there was someone that got up and spoke at the rail and specifically was targeting me. He was speaking to the city council, but he definitely kept turning and trying to look at me. And Council President Porterfield said, excuse me, please address me. Do not address anyone in the audience. But nah, that's not what they did. So by the way, it's real cute. Whoever's, messaging right now in the chat. Cool. Great. Appreciate you helping the algorithm. But our young people in our community deserve safety. They deserve to know that they can be outside and be children and not be harassed or arrested by cops. But that's not what happened. So yeah, I called for accountability. I called for those officers to be known. And are these the same officers that are inside our school district supposed to be keeping our kids safe and building relationships? Haven't gotten an answer yet. And then last but not least is the fact that we need general safety for our children in our communities, in our streets, in our school buildings, and we want safe communities for everybody. And tonight we had an enough is enough conversation. It was wonderful. 25 folks came out from all different walks of life saying, hey, we want to start something. We want to make sure that all of our kids have access and opportunity, that kids are safe, that there's not violence enacted against our children, no violence enacted against our children, and that we don't have violence within interpersonal relationships either, that in our neighborhoods we feel safe. So we started that conversation and talked about what do solutions look like? What does it happen for us to be able to be safe in our homes, to be safe in our communities, for children to be treated like children and not to be criminalized? And it was a beautiful thing that's starting something that's going to just get bigger and better every single day. But here's what I know. It's a Talk About It Tuesday. And there's a whole bunch of folks that had some things to say on my live. There are folks that hide behind their usernames. There are people that will say things, but they don't come into the light. I say exactly what I'm thinking. I don't hide behind a screen name. Everyone knows my name. It's Jamaica Miles. You know exactly how I feel and what I'm thinking. You know that I'm here for the community every single day, that I believe that everyone should have access and opportunity to thrive, and that no one should be struggling to survive, to make sure that housing is a human right, and that we prioritize people over property, that we pass legislation that is going to offer safety. That is what we need to have. But instead, we look and find that there are individuals sitting in office that say they are representatives of the city of Schenectady, but all they do is happen to spread misinformation and disinformation and decide that, hey, this might be the right thing to do if I want to stay in office, instead of doing what's best for the city of Schenectady. So it's not a new Schenectady. It's not. It's the same old Schenectady. And as a matter of fact, if we want a new Schenectady, then a whole lot more of us are going to have to step up. So if you're someone that wants to be a part of the solution instead of part of the problem, if you're someone that wants to have our police force held accountable, if you're someone that wants to know what the power structure is within our school district and who makes decisions and what are the decisions that are coming up, if you want to know what does a city council do and how can we get them to do what's best for our community, reach out and I'll be sure to let you know, because we are building a community, not just neighborhoods, not just lines drawn on a map. We're building a community. This is bigger than anyone has ever seen before. And you know why? Because it's by the people, not by politicians, not by those who think they can just profile and smile pretty for the camera when they're at an event, but those are actually committed to change. And I will say that I have seen some elected officials show up for the community, and then their peers poo-poo them for it. Yeah, we're not having that. So if you happen to be interested in being a part of real change in the city of Schenectady, if you believe that wherever you are in the capital region, that you want safe communities, that housing is a human right, that everyone should have access to health care, that food should be something that's accessible to everyone, that children should be allowed to be children and not to be brutalized or to put in cages, that we believe that dignity is a human right, join all of us. To those that just want to clown and make jokes in the comments, we see you. And guess what? All you're doing is help feed the algorithm so that somebody else sees this post too. In the meantime, we're going to get back to work. So make sure you like and follow all of us on all of its platforms at Untitled and Free, whether it's on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Follow us everywhere. And as a matter of fact, for those of you who think that you know something, feel free to join us. Help us be better educated. But if all you got to do is to sit behind a screen and squawk and bark at people, all you got to do is yap, and you ain't committed to creating change in your community, we know you ain't about real business. You are not a threat or an asset. You're just noise. So in the meantime, I'm going to talk about it every single Tuesday, and I'm going to see y'all at the real work, doing real community shit with the people. Y'all have a good evening. Jokers are funny. Laters.